The white guilt in my heart is dying away, is dying away. Your movies don't thrill me like they used to do. The words only chill me, I'm glad that we're through. My heart was yearning, but now I can see the white guilt in my heart is dying away, is dying away. You fooled me a while. You thought you were wise. You even believed I fell for your lies. But the tricks turned on you. Now gladly I say the white guilt in my heart is dying away, is dying away. Your movies don't thrill me like they used to do. Your words only chill me, I'm glad that we're through. My heart was once yearning, but now I can say the white guilt in my heart is dying away, is dying away, is dying away.
I never hit my face, but until recently I didn't know history class was jacked completely. Found my new family with the team going free. My old family doesn't understand me, cause I am so pro-white. No coke, no Sprite, I am rolling with the public, gonna be more white. I saw them twist history right before my very eyes. Insurrection Day, it's in the book and it's all lies. But now I am alive and well to tell it. But will generations down the line be able to sell it? I've always been a thinker on the search for both sides, but they label me an outcast and they cannot tell me why. Guess I'm just a black sheep, white boy who doesn't hesitate to make a lot of fucking noise. I'm the black sheep, white boy, and I wouldn't change a thing if I ever had the choice. Cause the red's the color I bleed. Yes, we all to be red. I have to protect my family. So why does affirmative action make them not hire me? Even in the countries where I'm the minority. Is my race just that awesome and no other could compete? Is that what the anti-whites are trying to tell me? Why am I always seen as such a threat? To the point they want to strip me down till there's nothing left. Old friends from high school, man, I haven't kept one, but I got a new crew and it's where I belong. Cause if you ain't going free, you ain't rolling with me. And there are even anti-whites in my own family. But I am the one who's comfortable with myself, trying to save them from the hate so wildly raising hell. Cause I'm the black sheep, white boy who doesn't hesitate to make a lot of fucking noise. I'm the black sheep, white boy, and I wouldn't change a thing if I ever had the choice. Cause the red's the color I bleed. Yes, we all to be red. I have to protect my family. Scotland is too white, is Nigeria too black? Don't get your panties in a bunch, cause I have the right to ask. See, I'm the black sheep, cause I call it hypocrisy. And the media will give you emotions, but they will not give you honesty. Yeah, you have your feelings, but I have the crime rate. And I'ma shoot to kill if there's a danger my way. So I do not blame the cops, just the ones who are cowards, who hesitate to pull the trigger unless it is one of ours. Cause he's a black sheep, white boy who doesn't hesitate to make a lot of fucking noise. I'm the black sheep, white boy, and I wouldn't change a thing if I ever had the choice. Cause the red's the color I bleed. Yes, we all to bleed red. I have to protect my family. So I put my people to death.
Why don't we just go ahead and roll in and see how everybody's doing and see who makes it over here this evening. You may financially gift while we are together tonight. Let me know how the mic is and the video, etc. You may financially gift. We will have Entropy up running in just one moment. It is slowly coming up. So you can financially gift there. You may also head on over to the question widget, the Talk Kevin widget there, and ask questions or make comments. They won't disappear. They won't roll off. You can head on over to DLive, and you can financially gift there in their cryptocurrency, Odyssey in their cryptocurrency or cash dollars. You may also financially gift in cash or crypto over at Cash App, and the links for all of these are in the description below. Great to see you all tonight as we are rolling in. It's been a very busy day, but it's one I figured that we could get together and talk about a couple of these things and pull up the DeSantis. What do you think about DeSantis? And he has announced, everybody expected he would. The wet blanket has entered the race. There's Anna. Great to see you, dear sister, and Pear Lady. Great to see you, sister. And there's the wonderful Franklin. Thank you for the feedback, brother. I appreciate it. JK160 is here. Those are some champions. It's two gentlemen. You have Ghost is here. Great to see you and welcome, welcome. Escape is with us. Wonderful to see you. There's Shauna Shaw. Hello, sister. How are you? Nat Quinn. Is that supposed to be like a play on Queen? Great to see you. Odinshire is with us. Wonderful, brother. Machiavelli Sucks is here. Wonderful to see you as well. Cool, Papa J Magic. A true champ in service. To White Well-Being is with us. Is also here, which is really just a getting struck by a punch in a Kung Fu theater movie back in the day. I guess it was also throwing a punch, was it not? In the Kung Fu theater. So we got DeSantis and we got the races on. Now this is the primary. The primaries, I guess, is really just beginning. But it's really kind of over because Trump is going to be the nomination. There is little chance something really out of the ordinary would have to happen for Trump not to end up being the nominee. I mean, who knows? Maybe we could see somebody win the primary that shouldn't have, if you know what I mean. Not like happens with presidents in the United States, but you never know. I mean, it could be. Wouldn't that be something? All of a sudden, it's just like comes out of nowhere, and it's just like, I don't know, Tim Scott, who nobody's going to care about. Kingdom of Inland is here. Great to see you, brother. Anthonite is here. Hello and welcome. World Conqueror. Great to see you, brother. Matt is here. Hello, hello. What's everybody doing on this Wednesday evening? Number 7 from Ghost Pirate says, the man, the legend, 07 salutes no white guilt. God bless you. Great to see you. Sam is here. Wonderful to see that champion. We had a couple of screens here. Little tech issue that we got to just push back. So, yeah, let folks in your circles know that we're live. Franklin's driving. Man, that's dedication. The great sister Elaine Sabatino is with us. All right, so what do we have? We had DeSantis made a video, and we'll take a look at that video, the short video of his announcement. He was, I understand, I could be incorrect, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that he was going to have a rally, but he decided sort of at the last minute. And so it makes me wonder if it was a Elon Musk idea to have a Twitter space with Elon Musk. Now, I don't believe that this means that Musk supports DeSantis. I think probably we'll see interviews like this, Twitter spaces, for any of the candidates that would like to go on and have a Twitter space with Musk. Musk said during this, and if you want to watch it, it's painful. Because DeSantis is, well, first of all, there's nothing to watch. Of course, you listen to it. DeSantis is your abject, absolute, prototypical Republican bitch. I mean, it really came through in this Twitter space. Anyhow, he decided not to do this rally and decided to be on Twitter for the Twitter space, on Musk's Twitter space. But the platform kept crashing because there were so many people that had shown up naturally because Musk was doing a Twitter space. So many people wanted to see what that was all about, which was going to bring DeSantis a much, much larger audience. Because I think he's really just like eating cardboard. It's so typical of a Republican speaking to the sewing circle the entire time. The tenor of his voice, the answers he gives, the cadence, it's all just this rah-rah America, everybody loves freedom, just the same Republican garbage, the same sort of, even the families of Democrat voters, they want what's best for their kids. And that means they want merit-based, and they just totally ignoring race. And it's like so much of anti-whiteism adopted by the Republicans. And that's what they sell. It's this insipid patriotism is what rhino republicanism is. And DeSantis, who had been, it seemed, trying to make this appeal to Trump supporters and to this MAGA mentality in a lot of his decisions, his contests with Disney and etc., totally came out swinging like a 3-year-old. Just unbelievable. So he goes on, and there's all of these glitches, and the thing crashes. So they can have their discussion. They try repeatedly. It just doesn't work. So because there are so many people that want to know what's going on with Musk. So they flip it over to some other guy's Twitter because nobody would know, I guess. Not nearly many as people would know who this person is. And I think it might have been one of the reporters asking questions of DeSantis. Really sounded like all sounded like DeSantis supporters or sycophants. And so we're just sycophants of this raceless, continue with the anti-white agenda Republicanism, which is ultimately what broke up a lot of marriages. This Trump effect after Trump was elected ended a lot of marriages. It ended a lot of friendships. It ended a lot of relationships between brothers and sisters and cousins, because in these cases, now I'm not talking here about people who were like radical never Trumpers or whatever it might be. I'm talking about people who are Republican voters. So you had like spouses and girlfriends and boyfriends, both Republican voters, and cousins and brothers and siblings. And it's broke these relationships apart because the fault line between those who in the Republican Party who want multiracial anti-whiteism, obliviating the white race, marching forward with his anti-white agenda, just anti-white light, just march forward with it in a little bit of a friendlier way, in a little bit of a slower way, in a little bit more of a feel-good way, and really just the focus on the economy side, and really serving, I think, maybe this distinction between those who are more selfish individualists and those who were less selfish individualists and thought more of a greater American people, the people who events and create America, and the country of America, the texture of America, the fabric of America, which is not held together by the silk and paper and green ink of the currency. It's held together by the people that created. If you were to take Western civilization, you take all the white people out of America, and there ain't no America anymore. It's gone. Even having, in my opinion, even having all of these wonderful non-white people who love America as it was, as Western kind created it, and they want to perpetuate that on their own without us, it would just be over in a moment. That's what DeSantis represents. So they pushed it over onto this other guy's Twitter, and to do this Twitter space, I guess it's called. And they ended up having still like 300 some thousand people show up, but Twitter could carry the bandwidth. I mean, can you imagine that Musk says he's going to be doing this Twitter space and so many people show up that they can't carry, that Twitter can't carry it? I will point out, in a sense, it was like looking at people who are neophytes or tyros to live streaming. And there you had Elon Musk and this massive cadre of employees that tech savvy, tech wise, building tech infrastructure, and they can't pull off a live stream. That felt kind of good. And to watch that, them struggle with problems. And then as far as like how it rolled out, how was it smooth? Was it bumpy? I mean, this was like that chunky peanut butter with gravel. I mean, it was painful. If you really have to listen to it, then you really feel the need. You're like, I gotta know. Well, then go ahead and listen to it. But you're gonna have some pain. It is everything I just said and more. And we'll take a look at the little video that DeSantis made, and you'll get the context. You'll get the gist of what and who he is. And I haven't even seen it yet, but I have no doubt that it's going to be identical to who and what he was in this interview, because this is his presentation. This was the launch. The failure to launch was the launch. And how comical is that? And how infuriating will it be if, looking back, I want everybody to really focus on remembering this. If looking back, we said, that's amazing, a guy could run for president from his basement and receive more votes than anyone has ever received in the history of the country, it will be infuriating to no end to look back and say, did you see the massive car wreck, the failure to launch of DeSantis? But somehow he ends up getting the nomination for the Republican Party. Anyhow, so we'll take a look at that and what DeSantis is all about. It was a really inauspicious launch. I don't think that Musk is supporting him by doing this. I do think that he's going to have anybody that will come on and onto his Twitter space, and maybe it'll end up working. They'll be prepared in the future, and so they'll have the 600,000, the 1 million people watching or more over there on his Twitter space. But ultimately, what this is going to come down to is like the race is finally on for the nomination. Who's going to be the nominee? We have it's the primary contest from now until when are the caucuses? January. So that's when they start, I think. And before then, there'll be at least a debate with the candidates, which will be spectacular because nothing is like Donald Trump on his feet. He will just wield a sort of metaphorical fire through the competition. But I'm looking for them to try to pad DeSantis. I don't think the other candidates, I think they're just going to ignore. I think they really want to push DeSantis and this tepid, vacuous nonsense of typical Republican rhino garbage. There are the things, of course, that Trump is going to have to work through, these investigations. But I don't see any of them harming Trump. You had him have to pay this civil case for a so-called rape claim. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. People see the never Trumpers, these anti-whites, these monsters extraordinaire for what they are. And so they know there'll be lies. They'll know there'll be trumped up charges. They know that it'll be manipulated. They know that there are DAs and witnesses and grand jury members and jury members that are prejudicial against Trump and the opposition to anti-whiteism that he represents, even though he is not oppositional to anti-whiteism, intentionally at least. So he'll work through these. Georgia, the federal potential charges for taking the documents, New York. with Alvin Bragg and all that trumped up garbage. But it will be exciting. I think Trump is going to take the nomination, and this really is just something to pass the time with DeSantis, and to see exactly the kind of forces, financial forces and other type of anti-white forces that are arrayed behind him, that line up behind him, and maybe behind some of the other candidates that are running in the Republican primary. You'll be able to kind of lump them all together for who are these folks? Radical anti-whites in the Republican Party that want to prevent the population of the United States, mostly white people, but good non-white people as well, numbered among those ranks, who get excited about the idea of destroying anti-whiteism, not just making it land more softly on families and children and on the country, and essentially what Republicans are is, it's been this way for our whole lives. Essentially what they are is, it's yes, okay, we will have your anti-whiteism. Yes, that's the future. They just like accept that, but it has to happen in a way that's more comfortable. You just have to go more slowly, and that's what I've talked about all along, that white people have done, just this buying time. We saw this in these towns where they're pushing the racial balancing in Connecticut and elsewhere, where in the 60s, in the 1960s, they first passed this racial balancing in all of the schools. And what have they been doing all along? Well, because white people are selfish individualists, they have, rather than thinking of their well-being, individual well-being by way of their group's well-being, they've been using all of these stalling tactics. Just stall for as long as you can. That's effectively what the Republican Party is. And so they come out and they say, don't be concerned, Sewing Circle. There's not going to be too much upheaval, not too much unpleasantness. And that's essentially what DeSantis represents. So we'll pull up his video, and then we're going to talk about James Allchurch and what went on there, and what lessons should be derived from the very bad decisions that he made that caused him to be imprisoned for 2.5 years. All right. Rory Herbert has shown up. Great to see you, brother. World Conqueror says, would it be villain LARPing to call him Disraelentis? Probably, because he's not obsequious enough for that to really be something that would disassociate itself from the normal association. That if it's a specific act, for example, like you want to complain about him signing this law in Israel, this foreign country, you could do that. But if you make it sound like he is subservient to Israel, then that goes directly to the trope that he's subservient to jaywalkers. And so, yeah, don't do that. Missouri Battle Flag is here. Ghost says, are you familiar with Florida House Bill 269? Which one was that? The one we were just talking about? Yeah, if that's 269 is the one, then not only are we familiar with it, but we predicted it would happen because of the villain role playing, the Nazi LARPing down there in Florida. It's a direct consequence, that victimization of every white person in the state of Florida, which a law now that could be used by a malicious anti-white district attorney, magnifying it and pressing charges against people who are standing up for Western kind, but in no way harassing or bad-mouthing or belly aching about any other groups of people. And when they win the case, when they don't end up going to prison for it, they won't be happy, because they will be they will be impoverished, and they will be psychologically abused by the lawfare and everything. All a consequence of playing the villain, in this case, Nazi LARPing, and harassing Jewish people, intimidating them, etc. All a consequence of that. So you can see just time and again the evidence of what ends up happening when you behave this way. What ends up happening when you are one of these belly achers, these incessant belly achers. Well, what ends up happening every single time, as you'll see with Allchurch, you go to jail. Ye's law, you get ruined by it, and you harm the genuine resistance against anti-whiteism. And so when these people say, so what? This jaywalkers have to be harmed, then they are revealing to you that their objective is not the well-being of white people. And they tell you that over and over and over, that their objective is not the well-being of white people by things like this. And so then you can know them for the gatekeeping subversives that they are. Anything getting in the way of the well-being of white people, putting an end to the victimization of Western kind, is subversive. Anybody saying that those who are putting an end to the victimization of Western kind are not legitimate, or they are turtle rapers, or whatever it might be, anybody saying that sort of thing is being a gatekeeper. End of conversation. It's that simple. It's so plain for everybody to see. Yeah, the J-Spurgs, it was because of the J-Spurging in Florida that law got passed. There's no use in saying they would have done it anyhow, because no, they wouldn't. It hadn't been done. That law had not been made. Nobody had even, there wasn't even discussion about anything like that. And so we were able to say before, during, and after, end of conversation. It harms white people. It harms the genuine defense. Anna says, DeSantis seems like he does good stuff, but I know of a law on the books in Florida that is very authoritarian involving pandemics. Oh, yeah, there are a bunch of, I think DeSantis is mostly presented to us as, hey, this is your man if you don't like wokeness. If you don't like the wokeness out there. I mean, just God, Republicans, these rhinos are such losers. Oh, my God. The wokies, you want to push back against the wokeness because you want everybody to be in comatose like us. And so they just present you with this hollow suit. I mean, this absolutely jejune loser, as far as I'm concerned, after hearing his answers to some of these questions during this Twitter space. The great Elaine Sabatino says, hail, Jason. A big Promethean hails and greetings to you, dear lady. So let folks know that we're live, but we won't be live forever. We all come to our end, but hopefully we'll live beyond the stream tonight. But let's go ahead and pull this up. The great Victorian time traveler is here. Whoa, look. The great reptile is among the champions in the house. Wonderful to see you, brother. Team White Well-Being gets stronger by the day. JC Denton is here. Wonderful to see you. Summer Lee. Great to see you, sister. All right. Jody is here. Wonderful to see you as well, sister. Montana Kid has rolled in. World Conqueror says in Britain, they call it wokery, which makes me physically cringe every time I hear it. Sounds like a Harry Potter spell. Oh my God, that is... How is the white race this pathetic? You know what's funny is all of the I mean, we're having some massive victories. I mean, our teams, our solo actors that are promulgating the key concepts, having massive victories, so much so that these people who endlessly hate the me-nots, who endlessly hate on me, hate on this Team White Well-Being, they're trying to take credit now. They're using our concepts and say, why aren't you using your Nazi LARPing concepts anymore? Why is it when you're holding your little banners and your little signs, why aren't you using your Nazi LARPing concepts? I mean, I think they should really be mocked for that. Is it because that garbage doesn't appeal to anyone? It turns people off? Well, guess what's going to happen? They're going to be able to see through your optics cucking. That's your optics cucking, because you're really in there sig heiling in your meetings. You're really in there playing the 1980s bands coming in playing the 80s skinhead music. And you're no longer using concepts that you put on your little placards when you go out in public. People put two and two together. Once they show up, they're like, wait a second. It's almost as if anti-whites are funding you to try to smear us. It's almost as if that's the case. The wokery. It's wokery. Oh, is it really wokery? I wonder how easy that'll be to say when you have no teeth. I wonder. We're the wokeries. The wokeries have descended on us. God, how pathetic. The other thing about this is the anti-white. I mean, it may even be that there's just like a strain of our people that are just given to this infantilism. And I guess genetically they'll be taken out of the gene pool, and which would be fine, because this is like the mind mush of children, just like drinking soft drinks and drinks out of pouches that are full of like antifreeze and other things. It's just mind mush, dead children that are out there. Wokery, it's wokeness. It's really just wokeness. No, I don't. It's sometimes I don't know what to say. I look at that sort of childishness and I think, what can help you? What can help? Euthanasia? Probably. What can help you? House of Osborne is here. Hello to you and welcome. Cool Papa J Magic says, finally got Born Guilty and Crucible in the mail last night. Awesome, man. Don't know what took me so long. Well, you are going to love them. You'll have to give us updates as you're working through. So cool, man. Just think, Cool Papa J Magic, as effective as he is from attending our live streams, how effective this guy is going to be as he starts working through the material of Born Guilty and Crucible. Epic, man. Reptile says, Matt Walsh posted a video last night calling Karen an anti-white slur. Can't imagine where he got that from. I know, man. This coming Sunday, we are going to lift the roofs of all of our houses. Those people, we're going to celebrate the folks who have been targeting, who have been swashing Matt Walsh, because we've got folks that have been swashing specifically Matt Walsh, love bombing him with key concepts, the different things, that dialectics that we use. And who was saying that but Team White Wellbeing, when Karen first made it onto the scene and everybody was being asked, what do you think about Karen? And there were these content creators and the explicit white sympathetic sphere that were using Karen. They loved it. They were like, Karen this, Karen's just another Karen. And I was like, what in the are you doing? Do you all remember that? Of course you do. Because you all were like thinking the same thing. Y'all were like, what the hell? That's an anti-white slur. And so we began saying that, and we've been pushing that, and we have massive content creators out there. Another enormous. So we're going to celebrate. Not tonight. We're not going to celebrate. I'm going to blow the roof off this place, metaphorically. When I've always got to say that, because that'll be the reason the criminal FBI kicks the door in, right? And then they're like, he has duct tape and Lysol, bomb-making material, clearly bomb-making material. Then somehow the duct tape and the Lysol will get to the FBI laboratory, and then that will become like plastic explosives. Just welcome to America. Welcome to the absolute anti-white America. Is that Mead music? Restore our monuments. Yes, indeed. Mike is here. Great to see you. Yep, we did that. Oh my God, I can't tell you. I was like hollering joy. We'll do it on Sunday. I'm holding it in right now. I'm like in Ben-Hur, and I'm holding the reins of the horses back before they just want to break loose. I got like 11 horse team They're just ready to just roll down on my chariot, ready to roll. But no, we got to hold it in. Just so many epic successes. It's unbelievable. And to see the things that can be envisioned, like I envisioned and I told, this is the strategy, this is how it will roll out, this is how we have to do it. It's the most powerful thing we can do, and it is the most powerful thing that can be done against these, the United States, Canada, UK, all of these places dominated by the anti-whites. And then to have the champions. I thought there would be more of us champs. I thought there would be more champions. It's true. I anticipated that there would be a much higher percentage of people in the explicit white sympathetic sphere that upon seeing success and service to white well-being and putting an end to our victimization would say, okay, I'm not going to do that other stuff anymore, whatever it was, and they would come over. And so we would have a bigger circle of champions here, of apostles. Really, that's what we are. But I guess the creator saw fit to say, I want there to be more credit even for those who have come. If we had triple the size of the apostles, then each of us would be sharing in less of the credit as apostles. And so I guess that's what the creator, I guess that's what fate wanted us. I guess that's what providence wanted, is for this to be the case. Because despite our size, they've tried everything so far. They try everything. They're like, nope, they didn't do any of that. It's been that way all along. Don't you know that Pierce once said anti-white? So don't you know that there was this other guy that had this lengthy, meandering idiocy that at the bottom they said anti-white one or two times? So Jason didn't do anything. Team White Wellbeing didn't do anything. No, I can't even begin to explain to somebody who is so jealous or so stupid or both, midget-witted, that somebody just saying anti-white maybe here or anti-white there in the thousands or tens of thousands of hours of work that they did is not the same as us and me over almost 3 decades saying that anti-white and anti-whiteism are the ideas that undermine the key ideas, the key concepts that undermine the key concept racism that defeated Western civilization. And so at its very core, these ideas of anti-white, anti-whiteism need to inform every other concept outward in concentric rings. That is fundamentally different. That's like saying that Pierce or somebody else over here, they also used vowels when they spoke and wrote. So what? So what? But of course, they're saying that to try to deny credit. Because they're jealous, because they have their own shtick going and they're making money off of it and they don't want to lose any of that. That's what it is, because they have another objective and they don't want to lose their pretext. It goes on and on. So saying that, oh, you never did it. And then also, I love this one, that, oh, it's just naturally occurs. Just naturally happens. Don't you know these ideas that Team White Wellbeing are, that they are saying that they are pushing, they created, and that's why it's out in the world now? No, that's just what naturally happens. Yes, that's what happens, Jason. That's just what naturally happens because the wokies have pushed too far. Fuck off. I mean, this is so unbecoming of white people that I wonder if these people are even of the white race. Or has it the white race just generally fallen so far that this is now what you get? Just the most unbecoming of behaviors as you can imagine. It's sad. It is sad for the white race, my friends. It is sad for the white race. All right. Is this I think this is right. There we go. Let's go ahead. Ooh, what happened? Let's try that one more time. Let's make a change here. And we will. Sam says, you did something big and you shared with everyone who stands by you. That deserves the following crowns. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Sam, champion. God bless you, man. That's something actually I didn't expect in to be so widespread is the denial of our great successes and then the attempt to usurp them, either claim that they've always been out there and it's just used as the entire idea, it's all just used as much, or been there just already by itself, or it's a natural consequence of wokies pushing, or communists, or Marxists. That's what the explicit, it's like the implicit white sympathetics, they're like, it's the commies. And then the explicit ones, they're like, it's the Marxists. I mean, fuck off. And then the brain dead, it's the wokies. It's the wokeries. That I didn't foresee being that bad. The Great Sloths is with us. Wonderful to see you, sir. I saw even a white sympathetic using white erasure. Damn. One explicitly vindictive of you. It's hysterical. So a person totally vindictive of me out there using the concepts that we are pushing in coordinated effort, in coordinated fashion. You didn't do anything. Sickening. Victorian Time Traveler says, let's tell the conservatives that white erasure is bad for the economy, then they will join us. You know what? That's actually not a bad idea. Just tell them it's bad for the economy because they put economy above people. Rory says, to be honest, would you marry a Karen? Of course. She was a great, great woman. I would absolutely. Karen is a lovely name. A lot of white women have that name. I absolutely do not ascribe to the usage of this word as a slur. It is despicable. And it's like, and we're going to take a look at that Walsh video, not tonight, but it's like you say, you take a non-white name. The people, let's put it this way. This is why when I see people using Karen, especially those who are explicitly white sympathetic, they use Karen. I have even more disgust for them. I'm even more contemptuous of them, to the point that I think that they're just absolute turd. Cowardly as it can be, because you know damn well and good that these explicits that they know, right? These J-spurging losers, they know, right? And they're out there saying Karen, but you know very well they would not go to work or out into public in mixed company and try to do the same thing with a verifiably and undeniably non-white name. You know they wouldn't. That just makes them bitches in my book. Absolute bitches. All right, let's go ahead and have a look at this.
Yes.
There you go. All fixed.
Of course. Oh, good. The white woman. What a surprise. What kind of a surprise is that? That never happens in commercials in the West, where they're always putting a white woman being helped by a non-white male. My gosh, that just never happens. And who is this? Now, remember, in advertising, none of this is an accident. The race of the guy and the race of the woman is poured over by numerous people. So it's not an accident. You got to ask yourself, why did they choose? Well, because they're anti-white. Commercials are a great place to start with folks you're trying to bring over to going free, with folks you're trying to introduce concepts to, because once you teach them how to see that, and once you teach them what it's all about, that it's anti-white, they'll see it every time. You know how you can undermine your effort teaching them this? You can undermine your effort really quickly if you J-spurg on them and you say, look at how they put the non-white guy rescuing the white woman. You know who's behind that? And then they go off J-spurging. You know what you've just associated with being critical of that sort of thing? The Holocaust. These people are too dumb. They're just too dumb. So you want people's minds focused on the truth that this is about victimizing the white race.
Work for me.
There's nothing like the feeling of done.
And you've been very helpful. Trying.
Okay, so open the front door. All new home repair and maintenance app. Okay, she's like, you've been very helpful. What are you doing for dinner? The non-white guy is there to save her. Oh, what a surprise. What a surprise. Your cool Papa J Magic just said the Karen slur degrades us all, not just women. 100% right. You want to know something that just made me think about? When people ask, where does anti-whiteism come from, Jason? These are the J-Spurg, degenerate, gatekeeping subversives. And I point out that anti-whiteism came from different white ethnicities slandering each other because they were slandering the sons and daughters of their mother by doing that. And then those slanders that's the basis of anti-whiteism. That's where it comes from. Karen is probably a name that doesn't exist in other languages spoken by white people. So you could now see how a slander could be created by an ethnicity of white people that could be used against an entire other ethnicity of white people that then rebounds like a boomerang to hit white people right in the fucking head. Because even though the white people on the other side of that imaginary line, they may speak, I don't know, Greek, and there aren't Karens there, it's still going to get applied to the white ladies and guys there. So now do you see how it works? If I could only like levitate and my head glow, then maybe people would just capitulate and say, yes, you're right. Let's just move forward with that and let's recapture our destiny, because we're all sick of our lives being wretched as a consequence of anti-whiteism. Instead, I got to explain it. And the problem is that so many folks they're too many IQ points away. So they just see these points that for us all connect perfectly and makes perfect sense. For them, it's just all disassociated. They're like, no, I don't get how it goes together. And so J-Spurg time. That's very simple. Linda is with us. Wonderful to see you, sister. Let folks know that we're together. El Rounder is here. Great to see you, brother. Spud has joined us. Gentile gentleman. Wonderful to see you. All. Stephanie, hello, sister. Now that we're by, I mean, can you believe here we are, roll in, going free, and it starts off with a commercial that just proves everything we say about anti-whites and anti-whiteism.
Introducing Front Door. Download the video chat and expert.
Really wonder why that company is, and it's everything. It doesn't matter what it is. The ad agency is like, oh, we got it figured out here. Strong, friendly, smiling, non-white male helping the white female who doesn't have a man. Why is that? Well, because the white guy that married her, he just ran off or something, or never married her, or, you know.
Our border is a disaster.
Our border is a disaster. Let me know if the sound is working for y'all or not. Sloth says, no white guilt is immensely brilliant. Thank you very much. So is Sloth's. That's why you see so many smart things come from that guy. If you don't follow him on Twitter, please do. And he'll, I guess you could share your @ I think it will allow you to share that. Share your @ on Twitter. Follow Sloth's for the brilliant things that he will share. But thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that. St. Thomas is with us as God bless. No white guilt in the chat. A big God bless to you. Sound is fine. Thank you for letting me know. All right, so the border is a disaster, says DeSantis.
Crime infests our cities.
Crime infests the cities.
The federal government makes it harder for families to make ends meet.
Okay, so that's economy. So border, crime, economy.
And the president flounders. But decline is a choice.
All right. This is problematic immediately. Decline is a choice. He has foisted ownership, onus, and responsibility for the state of America to Republican voters. You have to be able to read. You have to be able to read how it lands and is interpreted, and then each individual puts it into their own words to be able to understand. And so he starts off, he's like, crime is the problem, economy, you need more money. So the crime is to scare. I'm not saying that there's not a crime problem, but the crime is to scare. And then money is what they keep focusing all these selfish individualists onto. Money, 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 your money, your money. That's all that matters, right? And then he's saying decline is a choice. And you so far have been making the choice to decline. Now, is that accurate portrayal of what's happening in America? Not in the least. You are blinding, you are going through the entire population of your voters and you're poking their eyes out. You're taking vision away from them so they don't see that they don't have ownership for what's been happening, that they've got to change their ways because their mind can't return an answer for how to do that since they weren't actually responsible for it. That's why so many of the time you talk to Republican voters and they're just like, like there's nothing there, just empty-headedness. You step inside their head and you're like, whoa, it's capacious in here. Not a thing in here, but it sure is big. Hello, 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 hello. That's what's in a Republican voter's head because of this. Decline is a choice. So just made your voters responsible for this. What's really happening? This is the worst thing you could say. Could you imagine if we were to put this in more of a tangible form? Could you imagine if you were a city-state and invaders were coming over the walls and busting through the ramparts and over the rivers, and they're just coming into the city, and you turn to your defenders and you say, there are fires in the streets, our buildings, our important institutions are in flames, the women are being raped, the children are being gang raped and butchered. Why are we doing this? Why have we made this decision to do this to our society? I mean, can you imagine? The Republican voter needs to know that there is a war being waged against Western kind, and therefore the creations, the projections of Western kind, i.e. Western civilization, America, they need to be told that by their leaders, not told the opposite, not told that it's your fault, that you're making a bad choice. And then, so what's the alternative? I can already tell you, I haven't seen any of this 1 minute, whatever second video. I can already tell you the choice, you've made a choice for it to get bad. Now all you got to do is make the easy choice to vote for me. You don't have to do anything else. That's what he's about to say. How much do you want to bet? How much do you want to bet?
Success is attainable and freedom is worth fighting for.
Okay.
Righting the ship requires attainable, but decline is a choice. Success is attainable and freedom is worth fighting for. Righting the ship requires restoring sanity.
Okay, using the
success is attainable.
Success is attainable. Success defined as what? The fear. Remember, crime was used as to motivate you with fear, and in economy, we're going to make your money better. You'll be able to make ends meet better. So the success then that he's obviously talking about is the removal of the item, the element of fear, and the improving of your economic standing. Success is attainable. Success. What does that? I mean, it's so general and blasé. It just means nothing. Success is attainable. In what? For what? We are a people who have found ourselves in a place and time where we are watching the greatest, the most powerful example of Western civilization get ground under boot by a usurpation that happened long before our births. And you're talking about success is attainable? Like this is like the kind of speech you hear at like a company meeting to motivate salesmen. Success is attainable. And you're not going to get paid your bonuses unless you sell more.
And freedom is worth fighting for.
Okay, and then that's just like a generic throwaway statement. Freedom is worth fighting for. All right, thanks. That means so much.
Righting the ship requires restoring sanity to our society, normalcy to our communities, and integrity to our institutions.
Okay, so this is the perennial Republican mantra that is so time-worn, shop-worn, threadbare that it makes me want to hang myself. Not literally, I would never do that. So if suddenly you find me hanging somewhere, then it was the anti-whites. But that's how objectionable it is. They're just crazy. It makes no sense. And then you can explain it again and again and again. The ones that can hear us, make sure you explain it to them so that they will start using the concepts, and so that out of that number, many will go free, and we will recapture our destiny sooner rather than later. Okay? Because otherwise, they're going to be saying, as they've been saying, wasn't there a story recently where they were like, they're crazy, they're just insane. They've gone insane. You even had Lovely Porge made a great comment, what was it, 2 weeks ago, about the rhino type, Republican voter types saying, of rhino variety, saying that the left are just insane because of what they're allowing at the border. The only reason they're coming to the conclusion that they're insane is because, number one, they're taking responsibility for the things that are going wrong. Number two, they're being denied the vision of what's actually happening. They're being told that it's totally immoral to mention the breach in the wall, which is the fact that we are victimized on the basis of our race. That the reason why individually our lives are wretched is because the group to which we belong is under siege. And all of our projections are under siege. That is why these good folks come to and also they come to the erroneous conclusion that the anti-whites are insane, because the content creators, the misleaders of these people, like DeSantis and plenty others before him, my God, it's just nothing but an army of names and personalities and empty suits. It's unreal. That have come before him, tell them that the left is just insane. There's nothing insane about people who keep winning. There's nothing insane about people who keep getting what they want. There's nothing insane. I mean, how could you call that insane? If they are insane, then are you like devolving to some sort of, which is technically evolving into a more simpler structure, but I digress, into some like chimpanzee or lizard state or something of this nature? Are you becoming another animal that's so dumb that you simply can't understand that people who keep winning are not the insane ones? People who, there's thread that runs through everything that they do, that they celebrate for the love of God, that they say, we want to do this, and then they celebrate it when it happens, is the victimization of Western kind and the white erasure of our norms and customs and all we create. That's not insane at all. It's devious, it's demonic, it's monstrous, but it's not insane. Insane implies that there's no like continuity, there's no mission being achieved. It's random. It's just nothing but randomness. They just make decisions that make no sense. No, it makes perfect sense. Every decision they make makes perfect sense.
Truth must be our foundation. and common sense can no longer be an uncommon virtue.
God, this is so unpalatable. I can't believe it. Totally written for the sewing circle. Truth, freedom, common sense, whatever. God, this guy is more boring than a Ken doll.
In Florida, we proved that it can be done. We chose facts over fear, education over indoctrination, law and order over rioting and disorder.
Tell us what they're being indoctrinated to, DeSantis. This really is crafted for like 80 IQ people.
We held the line when freedom hung in the balance. We showed that we can and must revitalize America.
Revitalize America. Revitalize is a word from economy. So again, speaking to the selfish, individualistic nature of white Americans, we're going to revitalize. You'll have more dollars to spend on your ass. Because that's all that matters. There's nothing here that like inflames and inspires. This is the difference between Trump and everybody else. This is why I say it's got to be Donald Trump. It's got to be. Yes, he's not going to do anything for white people intentionally while in office. He's not going to get into office and say there's a war on the white race. Boy, it'd be great if he did. If we started getting the credit we deserve, maybe he would end up speaking to somebody like me and then might end up saying something like that. There are some things that can happen. But anything that he does that troubles anti-whiteism is not going to be overtly or obviously or even an intention of his to trouble anti-whiteism. It's going to be for various other reasons. But at the same time, the rhetoric that he uses inflames and inspires. It initiates. It's seminal in that it reignites that view of white America, that they are a people, that they built America, that it's their goddamn country, and that other people of other races can be part of America and wonderful contributors, and we can honor every single one of them as we do. But no longer that there's this like sort of like this dark matter in America, like in space. There's this thing that kind of connects everything in America. It keeps producing more of this America, these tangible things, but no one can see it. No one knows what it is because it's this people whose name can't be said. It's these people who can't be defended and who won't even by themselves. The white race is the dark matter of America. It's the dark matter of Western civilization. So Trump ignites that. That's what we need. We need that renaissance. We need to become a people again in America. Trump's going to do that. DeSantis will ensure. DeSantis is essentially the laughing gas they give you when you need to be put in a twilight state at the dentist or at the hospital. He's just more of that stuff. What is that stuff called? Nitrous oxide? What is it called? He's more of that. He's just like, look, just breathe in deeply, thin your nose, out through your mouth. Are you feeling funny yet? Are you feeling like out of it yet? Can you feel when I stab your gums? No? Okay, we can begin dismantling the rest of America. Is that what it is? Get him some more of the nitrous oxide, whatever it is. Gentile gentleman says, yes, it's nitrous oxide. All right, so yeah. He's more, thank you for that, brother. Appreciate it. He's more of the nitrous oxide that the Republican Party gives the white population here. I mean, this is like, it could not be more generic. At a time when we need Dragon's Inferno. At a time where we need a man shouting at a lectern and who's running for office and inspiring people to great acts of heroism and energy and patriotism and loyalty, so that institutions like the FBI can be absolutely gutted. That's what we need. Do you really think this? We need integrity in our institutions. Do you really think that's going to inspire anyone? No. Another like economic revitalize. We're going to revitalize the area. We're going to revitalize. Do you think that doesn't inspire anybody? We need the kind of speech that will cause white males that want to be men again, to go out and jack their trucks up 8 more feet, to go out and blast country music or that's proud. Where are we going to find some? I guess Fernald. But to blast music of various genres that inspire our people and that make us proud. Not that we're losing a woman and so we can't live, or every song is just about sex or something banal like that. No, that we are liberators. We're conquerors. We are creators. We are star walkers. I mean, this is nothing. I feel like he's like wet toilet. Like the only thing you have in the John to wipe your ass is wet toilet paper. That is what DeSantis is.
We need the courage to lead and the strength to win. I'm Ron DeSantis, and I'm running for president to lead our great American comeback.
The great American comeback? Is he like a high school football coach that's like half-ass, just perfunctorily coming in and he's like, well, we've had a couple of bad seasons, but we got a new crop of kids, and I'm going to lead our great comeback. Look at his look on his face there. He looks like doesn't he look like he's from the movie Spaceballs? He was the guy who wore the big helmet. My Schwartz is tangled. I hate when that happens. My Schwartz. Wasn't he called Big Helmet? Careful, you idiot. I said a warning shot across her nose, not up it. And that guy spins around and lifts the thing and he's cross-eyed. Sorry, Commander, I'm doing my best. I can't even believe I'm remembering any of this movie. And then he's like, who is that man? He's an asshole, sir. I know that. But what's his name? That is his name, sir. Something like Corporal Asshole. Who hired him? And then he's like, I did, sir. Some other guy turns around, some commander. Oh, no, it was like first class gunner's mate, Steven Asshole. And then one of the commanders, and then Big Helmet said, how many assholes we got on this ship? And then a bunch of people stood up and they're like, hey, that's DeSantis. Okay. Wow. This is, in all seriousness, I think that brand new content creators on YouTube could, with 2-3 months training, could knock out something as good as this. How pathetic. All right, let's get on to other things. What were we also going to do? I was going to take a look at the story, maybe. What's it say there? Miami, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis launched his 2024 presidential campaign on Wednesday with firm words, but a disastrous Twitter announcement that did little to counter criticism that the 44-year-old Republican may not be ready to take on former President Donald Trump. This is like a whelping puppy that's getting ready to take on a Rottweiler or full-grown Georgia Giant. When he tried to project confidence, DeSantis' unusual decision to announce his campaign in an online conversation with Twitter CEO Elon Musk ultimately backfired The audio stream crashed repeatedly, making it virtually impossible for most users to hear the new presidential candidate in real time. Quote, America decline is not inevitable. It's a choice. Okay, that's just what we heard. While his critics in both parties delighted in the rocky start, DeSantis' announcement marks a new chapter in his extraordinary rise from little-known congressman to two-term governor to a leading figure in the nation's bitter fights over race, gender, abortion, and other divisive issues. Well, see, here's the funny thing, though, as far as that's concerned. He doesn't want you realizing that it's a fight over race, that it's a fight over morality. He doesn't want you talking about that because that's immoral. That's an immoral thing to even notice. That's why they use all this coded language. That's why they turn it all into, no, it's a defense of abstractions. That's all that matters. They are saying it. You have to defend what they're attacking. End of conversation. Victorian time traveler. Was that in the movie? We need ludicrous speed. Light speed is too slow. Oh, are these quotes from the movie? Gentile gentleman said, I bet she gives great helmet. Oh, that's funny. Lunder says he sent Twitter DMs. Okay, brother, I'll check it out. Is it related to this stuff or just something else? You're just letting me know. Rory Herbert says, and then White Kel's a fan of monster trucks. Sir Thomas says, good evening, ladies, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just here to promote my excellent tea. Ah, cool. All right. Thanks, Lunder. I'll check it out. Great to see you, Champion Lunder. Well, we'll get on to... Let me check these, make sure I didn't miss anybody. Okay, I did not miss anybody on Cash App. And we have one over here on Entropy, the great Western inoculator, financially gifting $10. Thank you, good brother. He says, I heard someone suggest the idea of a new MC, selfish individualism, recently. I think that's close, but I don't feel that selfish is completely accurate. I think that compulsive or impulsive individualism would be better. Both of those words fit, but I can't decide which one is more accurate. Well, those are some great suggestions, and we'll have to toss those around and try them out and see how they play. But I appreciate that, and that's the spirit of the construction that we're doing here. We're continually improving, purifying the method that we use here in service to white well-being, identifying the MPs that are the new MPs, certainly, because I don't think there are many old MPs. They're not all in the book, of course. But if we find any new MPs, there was one actually a couple weeks back that was older. But normally we're identifying newer MPs as soon as they come out. And then, of course, MCs mean curatives, things that improve, defend ourselves. Thank you so much. Western Inoculator, folks, living the service to white well-being. God bless you, brother. $10 financial gift and a great recommendation for MC. Let me check over here on D Live. Okay, didn't miss anybody there. And looks like over here. And by the way, Rory, you financially gifted on Odyssey one evening after I looked at Odyssey the final time. But then the following time we got together, I read the financial gift. So we didn't miss you, brother. And thank you so much for that. Over there on Odyssey, we have Wing It over there, financially gifting one of their library tokens, their cryptocurrency. And it says with that library token, thank you very much for that, I often watch Turner Classic Movies, TCM. It's very amusing and infuriating watching them struggle to white erase when it's obvious the West was white. Oh, yeah. Yeah. If we don't recapture our destiny, that will be like a channel ending comment. And then eventually it'll be the kind of thing that will get you thrown out of school, or you'll be hauled before an anti-white tribunal at work and fired just to say that white people create Western civilization. Just to say that eventually. So you could sit around. You could sit around and be like a J-Spurg, like a guy a little bit further up the comments here, and just bellyache about Jewish people for the rest of your life and accomplish nothing toward your objective, thankfully. Or you can give up that objective, and you can give up that belly aching, and you can come here in service to white well-being and make a change before it's too late, before they take it all away. He said, I wrote these notes down, DeSantis did, before we get into the final segment. I'll read actually some of your comments from the thread as well before we get out of here. But during his interview, while he was on with Musk, he said a couple things that drove me crazy. And we don't have to get into a bunch of them, but maybe some. As I scroll down here to find the thread to share. And just do that, and we'll do this, I guess. So he said during the interview, DeSantis did, that what we all want is a colorblind meritocracy. No. That's not what's happening in America. We don't have a war on colorblind meritocracy. We have a war. So that's one of these, no, don't look at the breach in the wall where we're being inundated with anti-whites and destroyed and beaten. Instead, look at this abstraction over here. And we want to build the wall even higher on this abstraction. Colorblind meritocracy. No, the war is not on colorblind meritocracy. The war is on white people. You absolutely just insipid little blob. I couldn't believe when I heard him say that. I almost spit. That's what we all want, a colorblind meritocracy. And then, the other thing he was saying, of course, this is an amazing country. Every single time a Republican runs, this is an amazing country. We have it better than everybody else. Remember when that loser, total anti-white loser from South Carolina decided that she was going to run for president, and she said the exact same thing. We have the most amazing, this country is better than where they're just like butchering people in the streets. Oh, thanks for the high bar. Thanks. We're better than where they're butchering people in the streets. I want to shoot a little higher than that. Western kind is composed of star walkers. We're not going to do just better than butchering people in the street. That doesn't make us great. And no, the country is not great. It's shit. That's what needs to be. I mean, and DeSantis is saying this. The country's great. And what's her name saying this? The country's great. Trump comes along and the country's like, no, it's not great. By way of my statement, make America great again. No, it's shit today. The country is shit. And right now we'll be talking on Sunday at 5 p.m. about all these bills at state level and at federal level to make it the law of the land that you will have to house unhoused people if they want to be in your house. So no, it's not going to pass at this moment, but it will, exactly as I predicted back when I was in junior high school. So the country is garbage, and we need to reclaim it. We need to recapture our destiny, and we need to clean this sewer up. The country's great. So that was another thing he said pissed me off. And then you had this claim that Republicans make all the time, perennial claim, people of both parties, they just want their best for their families and their best for their children. And if we just tell, well, listen, what they think is best, the people who are voting Democrat, the vast majority, I can't speak for all of them, is our victimization. So when you're saying people of both parties just want best for their family, you are speaking to the outcomes that they desire, Nimrod. So essentially, this is anti-white light, Republican anti-white light. DeSantis is saying, we're all the same. We're all the same. No, we're not the same. We're absolutely not. There is a fucking war on against the white race. We're not the same. Families that are out there and they're saying, no, I want white people to be persecuted and discriminated against in hiring and promotions, in a placement in schools, in awards, and I want all of that so that their non-white children or their white but victim class children will be able to get what was unlawfully, immorally, unethically stolen from someone else. Those people are motherfuckers. That's what they are. We're not all the same. They're not like me at all. They're fucking demons. That's what they are. We're all the same. We all just want colorblind meritocracy. God, I can actually feel at times when I listen to Republicans, I feel the vomit come up. The actual vomit. I find them so contemptible. The party is garbage. Absolute garbage. So I just wanted to... Reptiles here. He says, imagine governing Florida. DeSantis is probably puffing a Cuban over some... Do you mean a guy from Cuba? Over some popcorn, shrimp, and Patron right now. Trump engenders Americanism. Ron's a vacation guy. Yes. Exactly. Very well put, brother. Very well put. Melody Dawn is here. Hello, sister, and welcome. Bescape, did I see you earlier? Great to see you. We're going to talk about next. We're going to get into... Is it there? Yes, the James Allchurch. What lessons and what do you expect to see? What kind of things do you expect to see, or have you already seen? I've got to mention as an aside, I have now seen a couple. I'm not going to name them because I don't do that like these losers do. A couple of explicit white sympathetic content creators, the Jay Spurging type. I did not think that I would see this from them. I knew I would see it from the misleading conservative content creators of good patriotic America. I knew I would see it from them, where they claim victory over Bud Light. I knew I would see it there. But I was stunned to see it from Jay Spurging gatekeepers, claiming that they did this. They actually wrote this one particular said, we need to do this every time to them. Are you kidding me? You didn't do shit. And that's why they have to co-opt events in the world as though they had something to do with it. Because what they're doing produces nothing but Ye's law, pain, imprisonment, loss of family, loss of job. That's all it does. It doesn't improve the lot of white people, Western kind Westmen all around the world. It doesn't do that. So when events happen in the world that are upsetting, for anti-whites or objectionable for anti-whites or contradictory to what anti-whites would like to see, when that happens, these folks, they come in and they try to co-opt. We did that. It is so salient that it is from this position of weakness and pain that they try to grab any piece of straw in the ocean as they're drowning from the choices they've made to try to claim this, we did this. You didn't do anything. We've explained why Bud Light suffered a setback in sales, and it has nothing to do with transgenderism. And these big companies all over, Ford, Disney, Target, and more, they don't care. They're advancing the same transformer activity right into the face of people. And they will take whatever loss as people, selfish individualists, just turn away from that particular sale. But you know what? Ford's going to keep selling. Ford's going to keep producing the most widely sold truck on planet Earth. That's my understanding. Target's going to keep taking over every town and putting all the mom and pops out of business. You're not accomplishing anything. The only thing that we can take that's positive from it is that where and when you see implicitly white sympathetic folks make videos and have audiences, and they're upset about these things, those are people who can receive the concepts. Those are people who, if they're among the best, can go free and then themselves begin to promulgate this changing of the story that we're in. But there's not going to be any boycott. There's not going to be any boycott that is manned or controlled or run by and then peopled by selfish individualists. I already told you how easy it would be for Bud Light to fix this. And we actually have some individual distributors out there who are going the direction that I mentioned, but they're not doing it smartly enough yet. So I that was a prediction and an encouragement for them that this is what they should do. And then bang, it's happening. The problem is that they are offering the sale by way of a rebate. Now, people don't want that. You got to just lower the price. Yeah, one content creator said they could give it away. No, if they started giving it away, they wouldn't be able to keep it on the shelves. I mean, for fuck's sake, really? How dumb are people? Azimuth Clark is here in the thread, and he says, we never support shame here. If you are a person of means, consider supporting Jason. If you're like me, working class guy, buy some of his books or send a few bucks when you can. Share the link with someone. Tell folks about the community. Make the 5 key concepts part of your daily vocabulary. Leave comments on other streams. Be Promethean, not white negative. People are watching us. They are adopting our way, the Go Free way. I started using the lexicon in other streams. Next thing, the content creator is using anti-white in their videos and titles. We are making a difference. Double your efforts. Go Free works. It changed my life forever. It will change yours. My God. That is so epic. God bless you for that, brother. Absolute champion, Azimuth Clark. I'm gonna give it up. Let's get some 07s for Azimuth Clark on that. That is a glorious testimonial. I'll have to share that. God bless you, man. I didn't even know that was one of the testimonials that I had here to read. One of the comments to read ended up being that great testimonial. That's epic, Swash. Yeah, I got to share that. Mestizo Carf says, will James Allchurch ruin mutton chops? Like how the toothbrush man was ruined. Toothbrush mustache was ruined by the painter. Probably not. I don't think James was that popular. Azimuth Clark, there he is. 07 to you, brother. Big Swash flags for you. Big Swash. Really a great guy, Azimuth Clark. That's epic, man. Melody says, nice to see you too, brother. Sending a hug through the interwebs or the interwebs. Got a decanted driver. Feels good to be in the back seat of my own car. All right. Well, very cool. Being chauffeured. Being chauffeured as it should be. I always wondered though when I was a child. David is here. Hello to David. When I was a child, I was like, why would anybody? I think it was the first time I saw on TV where limo would pull up, driver would get out, go open the door, and it must have been politicians or something. And then the guy gets out of the back, and I remember asking my mother, why is he riding in the back? What's that all about? My mom said, well, he's important and rich. That's what they do. And I thought, no, if I'm important and rich, I'm at the wheel, baby. I'm going to have a hot rod. I'm going to be why would I have somebody drive me? But I get it now. You can be chauffeured. You could work. You could just relax. You could sleep. Yeah, huge BPE. Slots is right. Huge BPE on Azimuth Clark. Epic BPE. Big Promethean energy. Where do we have that? Do we have that? If I have that up, we'll have that for. I don't think I do though. No, shoot. If I had it, I would throw it up on the screen right now. You know the guy with the crazy. I think Mr. V made it. It says BPE, and he's like this. Azimuth Clark, epic BPE. Cousin's driving. The cousin's driving, and he's liking the show. Awesome. A big salute to him. Eric is here. Eric is here. Great to see you, man. What else do we have? We have on the thread, No White Guilt Clips. And he comes in with some info that I was looking for. Jason, Tony Vermont had to take time away from White People Press to take care of his sick father, but he's back now. I got my WPP editions of Faust and Alice in Wonderland in the mail recently. That's all, great news. Thank God. Tony's all right. He was taking care of his sick father. So, folks, if you have orders with the whitepeoplepress.com, they're going to be coming. And if you place new orders, they will get filled. So that's great news. And we'll have to mention that again on Sunday. And big thank you to No White Guilt Clips for the clips, the God clips that's shown up. I was like, what's going on? And of course, the God clips shows up and he's like, I will tell you exactly, my son. Comes riding in on like this white stallion out of the sky. We have Slots in the live chat and in the thread. And Slots writes here in the thread, the announcement that they are filming is an announcement that they feel no more scruple about their behavior. He's talking about the upstanding anti-white, non-whites, 5 of them, who decided to film when they attempted to steal a bicycle from a 6-month pregnant white woman who had just got finished with a 12-hour shift at the hospital. So he's pointing out the announcement that they are filming is an announcement that they feel no moral scruple about their behavior. It is more threatening to announce that while accosting her. Precisely. Very well put. That's the great Slots. Brilliantly put, brother. All right. Looks like Rapunzel has just shown up. Hello to you, young lady. Simon JJ in the thread writes this. Our people are in desperate need of guidance. This is a cruel and despicable crime against our whites. It's made worse by the wholesale mockery of the victim. Again, we're still talking about that woman from the hospital. As more of our people adopt going free, it will become increasingly difficult for anti-white scum to act like this. Great work, Jason. Thank you, Simon JJ. We have Bulldog Boris in the threads, and he writes this. Remember, tag me if you want me to see what you're saying. And you can still, as long as we're here, you can still financially gift on any of those platforms I named in the beginning. Bulldog says, this community is rooted in the love and protection of our own people, never the hatred of others. And most importantly, because we are fighting for a virtuous cause, saving innocent people of persecution. This is why we will stand the test of time. And just like the example of this woman suspended from her job for being robbed of her bicycle, basically, quote, resist being robbed while white and you will lose your job, close quote. We are calling it out because no one else will, as the majority of the world are anti-white bastards. Beautifully written, Bulldog Boris. Epic hero that he is. All right, let's take a look at James Allchurch. Now, all that I know of James, we had him on the show once. This is long after he was made the statements that he was eventually tried and found guilty and now imprisoned for. He was, in all of my encounter with him, nothing like the J-spurging losers out there. He was a very, as I've mentioned before, a very gentle person, a soft-spoken person. When we spoke during the interview, before and after the interview, when I was in the UK, the brief time that I was with him there, it was all white positivity. It was all about our people here are suffering from that. Our people there are suffering from this. So I'm inclined to think that his genuine nature, his true nature, was to be concerned about our suffering, was to be concerned about our victimization, rather than concerned with bellyaching about jaywalkers. That's what I'm inclined to believe. I think that's the case with many of the people, and I've always thought that end up going the route of playing the villain. There's pressure when you decide that you can't take the victimization of our people anymore. You find yourself identifying. And there's this pressure that makes a person into a villain in the anti-white narrative, which is crafted for the opposition to itself, anti-whiteism, so that they teach the population, this is what's disgusting, and they teach the population, if you're going to resist us, this is what you look like. This is how you act. This is how you talk. This is what you focus on. And so people fall into this, and they end up falling into what, First Last will call the sunk cost fallacy, that once they've been doing it so long, they just can't change. They've got to stick with that. They've already harmed themselves so much from it. They've harmed others with it that they're just going to stick with it to the very end. And there are people that do that. At some point, I didn't know James when he was doing this sort of thing. But at some point in the past, it's claimed, I haven't seen the exact things that he said, but apparently a court in the UK claimed that he was J-spurging to the point that he could be found guilty of who knows what kind of anti-white charges they have there. Or if it's not anti-white at all. I'm inclined to think that they're probably based in anti-whiteism, but at some point in the past, he's made some statements that came back to haunt him. So that by the time he met me and Team White Wellbeing, and he heard of white positivity, And in my association, the brief associations that I had with him, with James, he was white positive. Now you could say, well, he was just putting it on for you, but how am I supposed to know if is he like some kind of a great actor or something? It definitely seemed genuine, and I'm not inclined to believe that he's this wonderful actor. I'm inclined to believe that probably what happened was that generally, like his natural instinct in nature was to care about us rather than just bellyache about jaywalkers all the time. But he's in an environment where you have this incessant demand, or you'll be ruined. Demand, or they'll slander you. Demand, or they'll. And so he wants to have a news site where he's talking with people and he's making a living from his concern for Western kind, or whatever amount it supplements his pay from someplace else. And he's pressured into it. Very few people, in fact, none almost, except for us, stand up against these people and say, no, you do not carry the banner for Western kind against anti-whiteism. We do. Your occupation, your preoccupation is to slander another group of human beings or several groups of human beings. More importantly, your teleos, your goal is not the victimization of white people, but the eradication of other groups. And then you say, for this reason. No, that's not how it works. You don't get to be the spear point. You don't get to be central command for the defense of Western kind against anti-whiteism. And by way of, once we destroy all these other people, then we'll have this other thing that, what is it again that we're supposed, oh yeah, white people will be good then. First of all, it's just incorrect. It's just white people will not be good. If you snapped your fingers tonight and all non-white people reappeared on a better planet than Earth to live in a land of milk and honey, and it was just white people left here, it would be just wholesale bloodshed. We are not a people, and we are manipulated by extraordinarily powerful chieftains who now at this point have the power of gods at their fingertips. And so they are effectively mortal gods. And they will fight to the very last one of us against each other. So you're just not right in the first place. But we could go on for hours. They're not right in that, but I'm not going to do it because I don't want to get off the thread that we're on here about the lessons that should be taken from this. Get another drink. So eventually, remember what I've said many, many, many times, that as anti-whiteism incrementally marches forward, every yesterday is not anti-white enough. And remember, I've given the stories of even these white people who are radically anti-white. As we march forward in time, they'll be able to look back and say, you were once a member of a golf club that was 60% white. You weren't anti-white enough by today's standards, even though that was 20 years ago. So now we're going to punish you. So at some point when James Allchurch said the things he said, and I don't know exactly what they were, but I presume that they were J-spurging statements based on everything that I've heard. When he said them, they didn't upset anybody because nobody heard them that could have been upset. And they didn't rise, I guess, to the point of this punishment that he later experienced. But eventually they look back and they decide, we want to take that guy out. He's disseminating information. So they just look back in the history and they say, we see this, that you did this. There's never been like a repudiation. You've never gone back and said, no, all of that's wrong. You've never, this is what you said, and that's what they tried him on, and they found him guilty. He could have been saying it today, could have been saying it tomorrow. He ends up being charged, found guilty, goes to prison 2.5 years. I understand he's kind of sickly, and I hope he handles imprisonment okay, and he's able to come out with what's left of his health, and he lives a full life. What are the J-spurging, ant-nat, cult-nat, Nazi LARPing folks saying? The usual. It's the same every single time I watched over these nearly 3 decades. And I'm not gonna go along with it. It's that it's unfair. Isn't that what they're saying? It's not right. It's not fair. And then they'll do the comparison with how anti-whites are treated versus how people who aren't anti-white, or they push back against anti-whiteism in some way, shape, or form. What does that accomplish for us? I am here to recapture our destiny, not to bellyache about other groups of mankind, because that does nothing. It certainly doesn't serve white well-being. Not to make excuses for why we can't recapture our destiny, and absolutely not, after the fact, to ignore the lessons that were taught to us by way of people committing suicide and being imprisoned and losing their families and getting divorced and having the courts say that they can't see their children anymore, losing the house and the place they live in, losing the automobile that they worked hard to pay for, ending up being homeless, ending up using drugs. Ignore all of those lessons so that you could talk about how unfair it is? Fuck you. That you could say that it's part of the hazard. You know, that's one of the things I find most reprehensible, is when individuals who feign themselves to have opinions worthy of sharing as content creators or organization leaders, and the tripe that they preach or write or whatever it is ends up causing people to go to jail or have their lives ruined, and then they come out and they say, well, that's not fair, it's the risk we take. No, you are scum. If you are giving people advice and you are encouraging people to engage in language, in rhetoric, in discussions, in their lives, with their friends, with their family, that is ruining their lives and doing nothing, by the way, just as an aside, for the recapture of our destiny, you are responsible for what happens to them. And if there ever is a time that we recapture our destiny and I have anything to do with it, you will be on trial for what you did to all those good white people who could have gone the right direction. There are a lot. Over all of these years that I've been able to observe, and I was on the phone with one of my old-timer buddies, and he told me that he's been listening to people J-spurging for 50 years. Just complaining about Jewish people for 50 years. And everything has gotten worse while they've been complaining and gatekeeping and subverting everything out there that could in one way, shape, or form push back against anti-whiteism and end our victimization. This is a disease. What we should learn from what happened, and this is the only way to honor James, is to learn from his mistake. You don't honor him. You don't comfort him in his cell, in the showers in prison. You don't comfort him by saying, we'll raise some money so you can get some crackers and a candy bar. You don't comfort him that way. You comfort him by preventing future James Allchurches. That's how you comfort him. That's how you honor him. So what's the lesson? No belly aching about Jewish people. No J-spurging. Promulgation of Ye's law so that everybody can recite it so we can end this mental disease that undermines so many efforts to push back against anti-whiteism. That's what we need to take away. That the objective is not, for white people, is not the harm of another group of human beings, but to arrest the victimization of this group of human beings. Period. End of conversation. The lesson we should take away is that all of this Nazi LARPing, all of this psychotic fixating on this group or that group of people, that it always results in pain, in hardship, in impoverishment, in loss of status, in loss of job. And finally, I think the biggest lesson we should take away from James Allchurch and so many others, how many times do we see folks going to jail, committing suicide, having their lives ruined? I think the biggest lesson is that we should remember, James, every time one of these gatekeeping subversive J-Spurgs shows up and says, no, you can't do it that way. You can't stand up for the white race. You can't demand an end to the victimization of white people. That when these people show up, that we immediately tell them what they are, J-Spurging, gatekeeping subversives, and then block them and have nothing more to do with them. And make sure that in our conversations with others, that we tell everybody that's what they are. That we know them by the lack of fruit of any actual effort. Just the endless complaining. That's how you honor James Allchurch. And that's how I will honor him moving forward. And that's how I honor so many others who have gone before him that have ruined their lives, lost their lives as a consequence of following that mindset. Folks, the bottom line is we have to become, and by the way, I will be bringing back Jason Goes Political. We'll try it out again for this primary season, maybe a time or two. And then maybe as we're running, Trump is running for president. And I've said it there a number of times. We have to be the resistance to anti-whiteism. Everybody else is an imposter. The Rhino Republicans, imposters. The J-Spurging, gatekeeping subversives, imposters. We are the resistance to anti-whiteism. We are the ones changing the lexicon and dialectics that are being used to discuss the issues of the day so that it's put into our story. We had the genius to be able to do this with practically no money whatsoever, with practically no power whatsoever, with trying to pull ourselves out of this quagmire while we have these endless, mentally infected people trying to pull us back into the quagmire. We are the ones that have accomplished all this already. So that's what we have to, that's the lesson we have to take away. We are the real resistance to anti-whiteism. And everybody else, get your ass thrown in jail, ruined. How easy is it going to be to get a job? In the United States, you lose your right to self-defense. You can lose a number of rights after going to prison, depending upon what you go to prison for. And depending on where you're sent and how long you're sent, you might lose a lot. Sanity, you might lose a lot. You might have things happen to you that you'd rather be dead while in prison. So I can't, in good conscience, watch a soft-spoken guy like James, whom I knew as Sven Longshanks, go to prison. I can't, in good conscience, watch that and then just say, "Oh well, that's the price you pay when you speak out against these jaywalkers. That's just the price you pay." Well, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's the price you pay because you're not doing anything good for Western kind. And so what if they obliterate people who go up against them? We got to put an end to the victimization of our people. If there's anybody out there that wants to say that they're going to go to war against those who are opposing the victimization of Western kind, let them make their voices heard so that the millions and millions of white people behind me will suddenly stop saying, economy, what? What did you just say? Let them say that nice and loud while there's time. I'll take a look at what y'all are saying. And then we are at the 2-hour mark. Looks like I didn't miss anybody on entropy. We have an ice cream over there on D Live. Thank you so much from Billy. Has donated an ice cream. I appreciate it. And looks like we didn't miss anybody over there. But what's written there? Oh, Gentile gentleman over there saying I'll have to chat more there, seeing those folks over there. Let me refresh this. All right. All right. Didn't miss anybody there. So I'm going to take a quick look at the live chat and see if we got any comments. World Conqueror says, I appreciate you doing all the work you do. I would be completely hopeless and miserable if I was even alive without your message. Wow, man. Damn, I thank you so much. Thank God you're okay. Thank God you're okay. And thank you for having the courage to share that with everybody. That takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of integrity. And you're not alone, man. We're coming together in love, hope, and redemption. So I appreciate that. And thank God you're here with us. I know there are great things in your future. There are really great things in your future. Let's see what else we have here. Slots is saying in response to the things I'm saying, true, real. Oh, the great Fornola is with us. He says, hails no white guilt. Thanks for all you do. Well, thanks for all you do, champ. An epic god that strides across the planet. One sweep of his legs and he changes hemispheres. The great Fornola. All right, yes. We know Rapunzel has arrived. The squirrel emojis are out. Dorothy is here. Great to see you, sister. All right. Brian is here. And it's Franklin has set you straight there, Brian. It's not Alsop, it's Allchurch. Talk about Ye's law. It's like a giant Ye's law. I feel bad for the guy because it'd be different. I would still feel bad for him if he were like this kind of a thug, like real hard guy. I would still feel bad because lose your freedom. I would still feel wretched. But a soft-spoken guy, sort of a gentle kind of ish guy, that's terrible. That's really to say, well, this is just what happens when when you're going up against, this is the price you pay. This is the risk you take. Give me a break. That guy, the risk you take. I can't believe people talk like that. This guy should be free. He should have a nice base under himself. He should have been encouraged to work on himself and to better his environment so he could have a nice, strong base. Then he could have his platform that he's bringing the news to people on. That's what he should have been doing. Instead of J-spurging or whatever it ended up being. John says good night. A most warm good night to you. Shada Shade is here. Hello to you and welcome. Yeah, Victorian time traveler said he used to say when he was an ant nat, he said, yeah, that's what I used to say. That's just the price I have to pay. Oh my God. Could you imagine somebody with the intelligence of Victorian time traveler and the energy, the passion, the joie de vivre that he says a bunch of stupid things that do nothing to benefit white people or put an end to our victimization, and then gets arrested or dead, and he goes to jail forever. Or you could have all of those talents, all of that energy, and he builds a nice base for himself, and then he can bring that to the world with concepts that empower white people that they'll want to keep because they empower them for the rest of his days. Let's think about it for a minute. Which way would you like to go with the great Victorian time traveler? This is no comparison. Gentile Gentleman says, no white guilt. It's been fun, but it's family night. Awesome. He says, at the country bar, and I'm taking my 13-month-old lady dancing. That is so sweet. Well, have fun. That sounds like it'll be fun. Although I might recommend, I don't know how loud it is there. Maybe it's not too loud. But if it's loud, then maybe some earplugs for her little ears. You know, everything is more, a lot more for babies, children. The sound is louder. You remember yourself when you were a child, very young? The sound is louder. The taste of food is stronger. It's just everything is more. The sun is brighter. Because as we get older, the senses get dimmer. And then we think the child, they're like, why are you bawling? It's not that loud, you know? And meanwhile, they're like, ears are buzzing off their heads. I remember when I was a child, like regularly having loud noise and my ears would ring for an hour or more after the really loud noise. Now I could sit like in front of a high school band and I'm just like, all right. I just walk away. It's just nothing. It's like, no, you're already damaged enough, sir. Don't worry about it. Your hearing can't be heard anymore. We have to put you up beside like a jet now. Or at least, you know, have her away from the speakers. That would help. All right, Rick Freedom is here. It sounds like an awesome professional wrestler name. Rick Freedom has entered the building. The crowd comes to their feet. He shoots fireballs. He shoots fireballs from like missile pods under his arms. Like comes in, Rick Freedom is here. It's got some giant missile pods under both arms. Like, yeah. And it shoots out big flames. Fireworks that explode over the crowd. You think that's funny? That'll be the next pre-speech Trump show at his next rally. Get out your raucous emojis, though, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get out some 07s. Show some love. Get out some swashbuckling flags. Throw some gems on the ground. Cast the gems at his feet. Because Dr. I. Gore has shown up. Mr. Dr. I, God bless you, brother. $25 financial gift. And he's financially gifting here today. 25 with 3 salutes. And I give him right back to you, my brother. God bless you. Dr. I in the house. The only man that I would allow around my eyes. Dr. I. Epic of you. Thank you, good brother. All the salutes, all the love, the raucous emojis. How about the hugging? emoji. Yes, we will hug because we want to prevent and we want to honor James, and we want to prevent more people from ending up like James. In his name, let's prevent anyone else from ending up like James. How does that sound? That's the way to honor James. That's the way. From my conversations with him, I think he would be most delighted to learn. We can't undo what's happened to him. We can't undo them putting him in jail. But what we can do is honor him by making a commitment to not have this happen ever again. And we have another one of the gods of going free, the great himself, ladies and gentlemen. No white guilt clips. Financially gifting today $10. God bless you, my brother. The guy can't. Are you retweeting and regabbing his clips that he's making? You should be, because they are out there. They are everywhere. I'm doing my best, and he deserves that support. God bless you, brother. And he writes with those 10 white well-being dollars here. He says, going free has given me peace of mind and purpose. Thank you. That's a class act. That guy's a class act. Going free has given me peace of mind and purpose. Thank you. Thank you, good sir. Thank you, dear brother. What a wonderful thing. And what a comparison to what we do and how we inspire each other here in Service to White Wellbeing, to everything else you find out there. Everything else, regrettably. The content creators that are making recommendations about what needs to be done or should be done, and the organizations out there about what needs or should be done or should be done. Their followers go to prison. They lose their families. They lose their family of origin. They lose the family of their making. And then those content creators and those misleaders say, that's just the price you pay. Over here, you have going free has given me peace of mind and purpose. Thank you. How is there even a single thought given about who are the real honorable people that are having success and that are actually in the process of reclaiming our destiny? Where would you rather be? God bless both these guys, true champions. And that came in there right at the end. I almost missed that. All right. And there you got the great Sloths showing what a class act he is, saying 07 to NWG clips. And thank you all for celebrating. Everybody who celebrates is better than everybody else. And I mean that. Rapunzel, of course, showing the hedgehogs, which she's not an enemy of. Only the squirrels she's an enemy of. All right. Well, we will be back. I'll be back with Roland Shorts. I don't think back with another proper Roland like this, but certainly back with Roland Shorts before Sunday. But otherwise, we'll be back on Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, I look forward to seeing every one of you true champions in Service to White Wellbeing there. Hope we gave you something that you can put to good use. Roll out. Drowning in the argument, the anti-white says, what exactly is anti-white? You have got to be animated with the righteous passion of reclaiming our destiny. We are the heroes of this era.